Hello and welcome back to another one of my videos. So today I thought I'd take you through a bit of a tour of one of my favourite sketchbooks. It's not yet complete, but in my opinion it has some of my best work in it, and I wanted to show you some of my paintings in it and just give you a bit of a behind the scenes of what they're about and maybe how long it took me if I can remember, and we'll just have a look through some of my old stuff and some of my more recent things as well. Now I have made a very short flip through video of this sketchbook before. It was a very short video because it was one of those YouTube shorts, but I wanted to make a longer version because that means that I get to actually talk and explain each picture instead of just quickly flipping through each one. So if you do want a very short version of this video, then you can check out that YouTube short, but if you want the full thing, then this is the video for you. So the very first page is very boring, and I wish that I didn't put this on the first page, but I did, and it's just a colour chart for my Winsor & Newton paints. Very boring, we'll just skip over that. Okay, so the first painting that I made in this book, and probably one of my very first architectural paintings as well from memory, is Stalker Castle in Scotland. Now when I look at this, I can definitely see that my style has changed a bit and has evolved, I think, as well. But you can definitely see the first attempts of how I add detail to my buildings by sort of adding different tones and different colours to try and represent the details of brickwork and moss and stone and all those sorts of things. I also do really like the addition of little dots around the castle. It just sort of adds a bit more to that blank space. So it's something that I haven't done in my painting for a while now, so I should probably add those. Because as you'll be able to tell, I'm really not a big fan of adding skies or backgrounds to my paintings, only because I don't really feel like I do them properly and I feel like it makes the whole image a bit worse. So adding these dots sort of fills in that blank space without wrecking the image, in my opinion. The next painting is Mont Saint-Michel, or Michel. I can't speak French at all. One day I wouldn't mind learning French, but for now you'll have to put up with those really bad attempts at a French name. Anyway, so what I do with this book is I usually paint something really nice and then I skip a page and paint something on the other page. So this is actually my third painting in this book, even though it's only on the second page. Don't know if that really matters to you at all, but there's some background information for you. So I remember when I was sketching this out, I was going for a lot of detail. I wanted it to be a very full image and I wanted a lot going on in it. And because this was my first attempt of doing something like that, in hindsight, now that I look back on it, I don't see it as a very complex picture at all, only because I don't think I've really included many different tones in it. I could have gone a lot darker with some of the paints in here, and I could have gone a lot lighter in some other areas, which would have made a better contrast. Overall, I was really happy with how this turned out. There was a lot of line work involved, as you can see, and this island in France, it is surrounded by beach and water, it looks like from the pictures. I've never been, I'd like to go one day. So I did a little attempt of that water sort of scene, and I think it's okay. It shows that there is water there without detracting too much from the actual island, so I was happy with that. Over on the next page, which I think was my second painting in this book, is Miss or Mice? I'm not sure, Aniva Lighthouse in Russia. So if you look at any pictures of this one online, it's very dark and gloomy and it's just got that real dirty feel about it, which I love. I wanted to try and represent that with watercolour, and honestly I think I did quite a good job, and I also really like how I put seagulls around the building as well. This one definitely did take a bit of work, even though it doesn't look like there's too much to it. I was learning how to sort of work with wet on wet, and there was a lot of sort of mixing colours and trying new techniques and everything in it. But that mixing, I think it really turned out well because it sort of added to that real grimy look of the lighthouse, and it has a real weathered and worn look. So lots of descriptive words there, really gloomy, I love it. And then on the opposite page I've got a much lighter building. This is the Hobart Post Office in Tasmania. Just a very nice building, I'm pretty sure it's sandstone. It could do with a bit more detail and a bit more shading or different tones of paint. I'm hoping I'm using the right wording here, I'm still learning about paint. Overall, I was quite happy with that one, and I remember I posted it on Instagram and Australia Post liked it, and I was like, oh my god, I've made it. An Australian business liked my post. It was a very big moment for me. The opposite page, I just found a nice cottage on Pinterest and I tried to recreate that, but it didn't turn out well at all. And my little note that I put down at the bottom of the page says a sorry excuse for a cottage, so not really much to add there. It was just a bit of a disappointment. Then across the page is one of my favourite paintings. I still really like it, I just like to look at it sometimes, and it's the Ross Uniting Church in Tasmania. I'm a big fan of churches, and the more I paint them, the more I become a big fan of them. And when I was sketching this one out, I was just praying that I wouldn't screw it up with the painting, because I just wanted to do it justice, and I honestly think I did. For the roof, I played around with wet on wet like I did for the lighthouse on the previous page. So I just mixed some greys with some greens because it's got a bit of a mossy roof going on, and that turned out quite well. I mean, the shading around the side of the church, it's a bit grimy, but I don't think it makes it look too bad, so I'm happy with that one, and I eventually made a print of that one as well, which is on my Etsy page. I think the print actually looks better than the original because I played with the colours just a little bit, but this is still one of my most favourite and most cherished paintings that I've done, and I'm so happy that I managed to do it really well. Across the other page, I haven't done a painting on the back of that church because I don't want to ruin the paints if it sort of goes through. I don't think it will go through the paper, but I just want to leave it pristine, so I don't think I'll ever put anything on the back of that page. But on the other side, I tried to do a river scene, also from Ross in Tasmania. Yeah, I'm not good at water, and this was me trying to get good at water, and it's okay, but it's not something that I like that much. On the opposite page of that one, I've got just a couple little scenes from Port Arthur in Tasmania. I sketched this one in plein air, and it was just a really nice evening in the summer, and just to sit down in the grass and paint some of these things when all the tourists had disappeared and it was just completely quiet. There were only birds that I could hear, and it was warm. It was so good. And I did these little sketches, and even though they're not one of my favourite sketches, when I look back on these pages, it just sort of takes me back to that time. And it was just such a relaxing evening. I need to do more plein air sketches because, even though they never really turn out that well, it's just the memories associated with them. It's just nice. Over the opposite page, I've just got some cottage sketches. Nothing really exciting. I don't actually even remember doing these, but there they are. Next, I've got Christchurch in Turnham Green. If you're interested, I did a video for this one. It was a speed paint, so you can actually see it coming together right before your very eyes. This painting was based off a picture by a YouTuber and photographer, Evan Edinger. Mostly, I like how it turned out. The tree could do with a lot more detail, but the shadowing in the church and the colours used, I'm really happy with them. And also, on that video where I am doing the speed paint of this, a couple months ago, Evan commented on it and he said he liked it. And I was like, oh my god, I've made it again. The photographer says that he likes my painting of his photos, so that was really cool. The only thing that annoys me in this one is that there's like 3 little bricks that I must have been trying out something and then I decided no, it looks really bad, and then I just left it at that. They annoy me and I wish I didn't have them, but apart from that, it is another nice painting in my opinion. I think on the print I got rid of those bricks. Then across the other page is Castleton in England. I like these two pictures together. I think they really complement each other. And this is another village scene. I like doing village scenes, and this one turned out really well as well. It's very green. There's a lot of green going on, but I sort of like it. I'm a big fan of green. Over the other page, I've got London Tower. Yes. The names escape me. No, it is London Tower. Anyway, there's a sketch there that I haven't finished that I completely forgot about till just now. So one day I will finish that one off. And then I've got the Shot Tower in Tasmania. This is just from a picture that I took and I just wanted to do a sketch of it. It's a very basic one and I've got a hint of a sky in there, but I really like how minimal it is, and it's just sort of like a little snapshot of an area, and I want to do a few more things like that because it looks good, I think. On the opposite page, I've got my unfinished sketch of the Natural History Museum in London. There's another video on my channel where I'm painting this one, and I still haven't finished it, but I will get around to that eventually. Opposite page, I've got my old Bristol street from 1866. Along with Ross Church, this one is another favourite painting of mine. I'm still amazed by how it turned out. I love the details in it. In a way, I feel like I fluked it a little bit on how good it looks, but yeah, it's one of my favourites. And there's a video on that one as well on my channel. A lot of the videos that I make are usually working from this sketchbook, so you'll find the behind the scenes of them on my channel if you're interested. Then I've just got a bit of a painting of the gorge in Tasmania. This was done during autumn time, hence the yellow leaves. I'm still quite bad at trees. Sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. I haven't really got it down yet. It's like drawing hands, you just can never sort of make it look decent. The sketch for this one was done in plein air, and then the painting was done in my studio. On the opposite page, I was doing some watercolour practice. I basically sketched this one from a picture of a painting that I saw on Pinterest. Try saying that 3 times. Picture of a painting I saw on Pinterest. Actually, it's not that hard. Anyway, I was really drawn to this painting because of the brickwork and the colours in it, and I wanted to try and recreate that and just get an idea of how they went about it. And I've always found it very easy to copy a painting that you see online, and it's good that it's easy because you do learn a lot from it when you are copying other people's paintings. So that's what I do from time to time, and I don't usually make any videos about it. It's what I do in my spare time just to sort of learn from people that can do things a lot better than me. So if you are doing painting or anything like that, do copy other people's work. You don't have to share it and never say that it's yours, but it's a really good learning technique. So that was this one, and I wish I came up with it by myself because I think it looks like a fantastic painting. Across the other side I've got a winter cottage. This one was also a video. Not too happy with how it turned out mostly, but it was just a little painting that I did. And then another video on the other page is the house from Kiki's delivery service. If you want to see more of that one, then go ahead and watch that video, but it's an okay painting. I think I'd like to have another go at it in the future. I think I could probably do a bit better. It was definitely a fine first attempt. And that's about all so far. I'm halfway through this book now, and there's plenty more room for a lot more paintings and a lot more improvements. So I'm really looking forward to when this book is finished, and I'm hoping it will just be full of colour and memories and very nice houses. As you can see, I've tried to keep this sketchbook where it is only buildings and churches and architecture. I just wanted this one to be completely dedicated to that. So whenever I'm doing anything else, I usually work from another sketchbook. So hopefully whenever I finish it, it will just be full of heaps of beautiful houses and churches, and I'll be able to look back on it very fondly. So this is definitely a bit of a long video. If you have made it all the way, thank you very much. It is really nice to just go back through old sketchbooks from time to time and to just have a look at how you've progressed over that time. So if you do have any old ones lying about, go and look through them. It's always a nice trip down memory lane, and you may even have some things that you've just completely forgotten about. But I think that's all from me now. So as always, thank you very much for watching and supporting my little channel, and I will see you again in another video. Bye!